Today's episode is brought to you by the Canby Foursquare Church. Since 1978, a place to grow, connect, and serve. Find out more at canbyfoursquare.com or on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11 a.m.
This episode is also brought to you by Odd Moe's Pizza in Canby. Handmade, awesome pizza, as well as craft beer and cider delivered. Call them today at 503-266-8444.
This tax exemption eludes me like a gazelle eludes an arthritic cat.
Why can't Canby people keep track of their dogs? Like, what is...
To do that, you can't be stupid with guns.
Yeah.
That the board is saying they want to make Canby schools great again.
It feels like we've been doing this interview for years.
Inside of me was screaming.
You run for school board, you win or you die.
There's no second place. Welcome to the Canby Now podcast.
We are the best and easiest way to stay connected to what's happening in your hometown. I'm Tyler Francke.
I'm Joyce Struby.
And I'm Tyler Clausen.
The role of parents' rights in education was again a topic of conversation in the Molalla River School District recently, as the school board voted to rescind a controversial proclamation during November, Parents' Partnership in Education Month. They replaced it with a similar resolution declaring the same thing, but with the language that was prepared by Superintendent Tony Mann in collaboration with the Molalla Teachers Union and intended to reflect the core values present in the Molalla River School District community. The original resolution, which the board at its October 10th meeting, was controversial primarily because of the group that originated it, Parents' Rights in Education, or PRE. PRE is a nonprofit advocating for parents' rights to guide their children's education and promoting a conservative approach to sex education, LGBTQ issues, and students' access to contraceptives. But in the several public meetings that have now been held to discuss the matter in the Molalla River School District, multiple commenters have described PRE as an anti-LGBTQ group. This includes Hendy Appleton, who spoke at the most recent work session and also called for the resignation or removal of board chair Linda Eskridge, who had presented the original proclamation.
The problem, as has been stated tonight, is with the source of the language. Adopting this resolution aligned our district with an anti-LGBTQ group that wants to take the state's teachers union and the State Board of Education on. That organization, PRIE, tried to capitalize on your vote. They used your support of parents' rights to promote their agenda. That this was Ms. Eskridge's intention has been made clear by her subsequent hateful and untrue tirade at the last board meeting. She knew what PRIE really stood for, even if all of you didn't.
The public comment, which came after the board's decision to rescind and replace the proclamation, lasted a couple of hours. Don't worry, we're not going to play it all for you. It involved more than 25 people expressing a wide variety of perspectives. Many praised the board for their unanimous decision to rescind the proclamation and replace it with one written by local teachers and administrators. Others defended the group itself, or at the very least, the original resolution, which they said had positive language they supported and agreed with, regardless of where it came from. Still others defended Eskridge, the increasingly embattled board chair. Appleton was not the only commenter who called for her to step down or be removed from her position. Much of the discussion, both for and against, concerned LGBTQ issues, though the language in the original proclamation said nothing specifically about this topic. Eskridge apologized for her comments during the previous meeting, in which she seemed to suggest, among other things, that homosexual behavior was being, quote, pushed on kindergartners.
So many of you did misunderstand what I was trying to say in general about the events that I have seen happening at the schools and states around this country. I did not intend for you to think that I was making that comment about Molalla. And if I offended anyone with my comments, I sincerely apologize. It is, however, vitally important that parents not be excluded from their children's education, and that was the whole point of the resolution that we passed. The words are good and true, and where the words come from should not be of any relevance.
The apology did not seem to move the commenters and even board members who believed she should be removed. A later motion to discuss board leadership at the work session failed by a vote of 4-3. However, the board did agree to take up the matter at their next meeting on December 12th. The Canby Pioneer Industrial Park continues to develop and add more users, the most recent being Caruso Produce and Stand Furniture, both expected to come online within the next couple years. Now, traffic is becoming a frequent and growing concern for many residents. People are understandably worried about the strain increased traffic, and in particular, large truck traffic, will have on 99E and other connector streets that are already showing wear and tear with the current load. As hard as some skeptics might find it to believe, city leaders are aware of the problem and have been quietly working on a solution. This solution would allow the vast majority of trucks traveling to and from the industrial park to bypass Highway 99E through Canby altogether. The proposed road would extend South Walnut further west of the city, ultimately connecting back up with Highway 99E at the site of the Route 99 Roadhouse, formerly known as the Double Lot Ranch. The city's Economic Development Director, Jamie Stickle, recently updated the mayor and city council on the project, saying that while the project has been discussed for over a decade, the talks have lately become much more serious.
There are 5 parcels that would be affected by a new road, and we've had several conversations. I anticipate several more conversations with those property owners, but they're excited about what that means for the potential development of their property, and just hoping that happens in the next 3 to 5 years.
The original alignment and the one included in the city's 2010 transportation system plan called for a road that would connect Walnut with Otter Road, an existing but little used street that is currently a dead end. But this alignment was ultimately rejected by the city because it was deemed to be expensive and impactful to the property owners in the area. Last June, the city took the first real step in making the new access road a reality by buying a property just north of the industrial park at the junction of Walnut Road and Southeast First Avenue. The 3.7-acre parcel was purchased for $595,000 in urban renewal funds. Several of the property owners spoke in favor of the new alignment at the June meeting, including Ethan Manuel. "We are excited about this, honestly, as a group of Canby citizens," he said. "As you heard, the ability to build out the industrial park is contingent on having some sort of a plan for another 99E connection." Because the wars and conflicts in the Middle East no longer receive the front page stories and round-the-clock coverage they once did, it can be easy to forget that tens of thousands of American troops remain deployed all over the world. Some are in war zones such as Somalia, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. And even still, the United States maintains troops overseas in large legacy missions from generations ago, in such allied lands as Germany, South Korea, and Japan. It's estimated that some 200,000 service members are currently deployed. As we said, this may be easy to forget for some, but not for the many military families and spouses who are without their loved ones over the holidays. And there's someone else who hasn't forgotten. 91 school 6th grader Bella Capra. For 2 years, she has been quietly sending letters to deployed soldiers as just one small way so she can show them their service is remembered and appreciated. As Bella explained to us during a recent interview at Gwen's Coffee House, she was inspired after hearing the story of Eileen Cooper, a 98-year-old grandmother who has written thousands of letters to troops overseas.
I started about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, cool.
And it started because I saw this lady, Eileen Cooper, on the news.
Yeah.
And she was writing, she had written over 6,000 letters to the troops overseas.
Yeah.
So I thought that I was going to do the same.
It takes a special person to hear about someone else sending 6,000 letters to deployed service members and think, hey, I could do that. It takes someone like Bella. And there's more. It just so happens one of her classmates this year, Morgan Montgomery, has a brother who is currently serving in Afghanistan. His name is Aiden Roning, and he is a Canby High graduate, class of 2016. In his honor, Bella has taken it upon herself to not only send letters, but organized a group of friends last month to put together care packages for his entire unit for Christmas. The packages include homemade Christmas countdown calendars, thank you letters, and Christmas cards. Bella sent the care packages the week before Thanksgiving to make sure they arrive on time. It's pretty sweet, her mother, Bella Capra, said. She is now collecting thank you cards and holiday cards from friends and family members to send out next week with more treats. Bella told us that her little project seems to be making a big impact on all those who hear about it.
Like, you've been talking to people about it? Do people seem to really appreciate it, get pretty excited about what you're doing?
Yeah, they really like it.
Yeah, what kind of stuff do people say?
They're like, they say to my mom, like, you should be, like, proud of her, and, like,
yeah,
she's a good kid.
Right,
and, like,
right. And then you're like, yeah, Mom, you should be.
Yeah.
In Bella's spare time, Christy says she plays soccer and practices, not kidding, indoor skydiving. She is currently training for the U.S. Indoor Skydiving Open National Championships in January. She stays busy, her mother says. Yeah, no kidding. Aiden's mother, Carrie Roning Montgomery, says it's heartwarming to see the community support overseas service members like her son, even more so when it's something so organic and grassroots. While we are a military family, we recognize it's by choice, she says. We are very proud but modest about it. We are just so amazed by Bella and the good she is bringing. It would be great if it became contagious for all our military. Carrie said her son and his unit mates have received their care packages already. They said they loved everything and wanted to make sure the girls knew they all said thank you. For photos, find this story on our website at CanbyNowPod.com. Three people are dead and several more are recovering at area hospitals after what's been described as a high-impact two-vehicle collision in Salem Friday evening. The crash occurred at approximately 7:23 p.m. on Cordon Road Northeast near Sunnyview and involved a T-bone collision between a Ford F-350 pickup and a Chevrolet passenger van. The van had 13 people in it. 3 were pronounced dead at the scene, while 2 remain in critical condition. 1 passenger in the Ford was also transported to the hospital for injuries. Investigators from the Marion County crash team say the Chevy made a left-hand turn in front of the F-350, which resulted in the collision. Additional investigation will be conducted over the coming days. Both drivers survived and are cooperating with investigators. Police say the identities of the deceased passengers will be released after next of kin have been notified. A Chinese citizen has pleaded guilty to directing a scheme where hundreds of endangered turtles were purchased through a contact in Eugene, Oregon, and smuggled via U.S. mail and commercial airline flights to China. Xiao Dongquin, 34, a resident of Shanghai, pleaded guilty last week to 1 count of conspiring to smuggle goods from the U.S. According to court documents, beginning in at least May 2017 and continuing until May 2018, Quinn directed an unindicted co-conspirator in Eugene to purchase more than 300 live turtles from reptile dealers in Alabama, California, Florida, Kentucky, Michigan, New Jersey, and North and South Carolina. A 2-year investigation by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service revealed that in a 13-month period, Quinn facilitated the purchase and transportation of approximately 136 Florida box turtles, 76 eastern box turtles, 57 North American wood turtles, 20 spotted turtles, 18 diamondback terrapins, 7 yellow-botched map turtles, and 1 Blandings turtle. Fortunately, it appears that none were teenage, mutant, or ninja. Investigators determined the market value of the turtles involved in this investigation exceeded $250,000 in the Chinese pet trade. Quinn was arrested by Fish and Wildlife agents at the Los Angeles International Airport when he arrived on a flight from Shanghai in February. Quinn faces a maximum sentence of up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine and 3 years of supervised release. He will be sentenced on February 27, 2020, in U.S. District Court in Portland. Bee's Bake Shop is the newest business to be coming to the Dahlia building in downtown Canby. This artisan bakery and confectionery is slated to open in April next door to Canby Gifts and Toys. Recently, we had the chance to meet Bee herself, also known as Bethany Zito. We asked her to tell us all about her vision for bringing a little fun to the bakery scene.
Just so the listeners know, that is Bee's Bake Shop with a SHOPPE. It's super fancy, am I right?
Yeah, it'll be just to help describe, it's a little not fancy, but a little more upscale with some more confections like ice creams and candy bars and that sort of thing.
So we met at the, by the time folks are listening to it, the ribbon cutting last week at your neighbor, Canby Gifts and Toys, also in the Dahlia building. And you had catered some treats for that event, some cookies, some macaroons. And then something I tried that was this, like, I'd never seen it before. It was this, like, weird, like, jelly cube thing that I just thought I would try, and oh my god, it was amazing. It was like the most amazing thing I've ever eaten. It was like apple cider candy. It tasted like a cube of just fall, like in a cube form.
Yeah, thank you. It's a French treat called pâte de fruits, which pretty much translates to fruit. Pâte de fruits.
Pâte de fruits. Did I get it?
Fruits. Yes. Yeah. And it translates to fruit jelly essentially.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's you take a juice, a puree of some sort, and you thicken it with apple pectin like you would a jam.
Okay.
But you just take it a little further so you can have a nice cuttable, edible treat, like handheld treat. So it's like eating jam.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I love how like the French can take like any boring word like jelly and make it sound incredible.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your plans for your local store. You've kind of mentioned it a little bit, some of the treats and things, but why don't you actually maybe tell us a little bit about you and kind of your baking journey or your business journey?
Okay, yeah. So I am a pastry chef and baker, and I've been in the industry for 16 years. I started out in breads and baking, doing like breakfast pastries, and from there I got into fine dining, and so I've been doing all those pretty plated desserts and components, and I've been playing around a lot with like different flavors and involving vegetables into my desserts. Mm-hmm. But my passion since the beginning has been to open up my own bakery, Bake Shoppe. And the past 2 years, I've been doing the City Farmers Market in Hubbard. I've been having a bakery stand. And
cool.
It was super successful. And I got to meet a lot of people. And there's really a need for breads and pastries in our South Portland area. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to focus on is artisan sourdough breads and pretzels and a lot of stuff you can't really find without like driving down or up, I guess, really, to Portland.
If you're driving down, you're going to be driving for quite a bit longer, probably.
Yeah, all the way to San Francisco.
Yeah, right. Maybe not that far, but
yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing breads, and you'll find your breakfast pastries and cookies, all those staples.
Okay.
But then I like to do ice creams, like flavored ice creams, and I've been working on a line of candy bars, trying to make my own version of like Snickers or Almond Joys.
Sounds great. I love that.
And they're big, like fat candy bars.
Yeah.
So, just kind of bringing some fun into like the bakery scene.
Yeah.
To the area.
And then just have like off-brand names for it, like, oh no, this is a Stickers bar.
Yeah, right. Like I can't by trademark use the real name.
Oh no, this is a Mershey's bar is what this is.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love that. And that's got to be fun to experiment with candy. Like, of all the things, that's got to be great.
Yeah. You really can just make anything. I kind of come up with a random idea, or somebody says, like, there's something out there like, oh, I wish I could, like, make a version of this. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it out. Like, let's see what happens. And
Yeah. Well, I wonder, because I think that maybe people don't quite realize quite the model that you are going for, and that, that many artisan kind of bakeries and pastry shops are going toward as well, is really, I mean, obviously you have the direct sales because there is that demand in individual consumers as well, but really maybe even more, or maybe clearly more to the wholesale type market. A lot of restaurants and smaller cafes and things are interested in carrying locally made artisan, high quality products that are sourced from somewhere else, but somewhere local.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for bringing that up. That is another side of my business.
Well, I mean, when we were talking at the ribbon cutting, like there were so many local people that were trying to talk to you about sourcing some of your stuff that we had to reschedule this. So it was kind of hard to miss.
Yeah. I have a woman who wants to buy my like soft Bavarian pretzels, and I'm trying to get into the restaurants. There is a need for restaurants and even like smaller like specialty stores and grocery stores for like locally baked bread, but sometimes they have to go all the way to Portland or just to get some local-ish stuff. And I'm going to try to feed that market for the restaurants down south, and get a piece of that pie.
Awesome. Right, as it were. Yeah, there's some great baking idioms. So, the kind of look and feel of the place itself, we were chatting just a little bit, and you said that probably have a few tables, do some drip coffee for people that are looking to just get off their feet for a little bit and have a little treat.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some tables. It's probably going to be mostly communal seating, just to utilize as much of the space as possible. But there will definitely be some like window counter seats, and it can be grab and go, grab and sit. Drip coffee. It'll be like a nice comfy place. I'm gonna try to play along with the honeybee theme with like the soft yellows and browns.
That's
maybe
great.
find some local artists to hang some art in the shop to sell as well as decorate.
Yeah. The ovens and things, will that be kind of back in the kitchen, or will that be a little more open so people can sort of see a little bit of what's going on? Or because I know that can be pretty interesting to see the baking process sometimes.
Yeah, it'll pretty much be an open kitchen.
Cool.
We're planning on building some counters all the way around the outside, so nobody can walk in and burn themselves.
Okay, not a good idea.
Yeah,
but you can see, but don't touch.
Exactly. See and not touch. You'll be able to see a lot of the action going on. Hopefully, most of it will be done before people get in, but
yeah. Well, now that you've got our mouths watering and everything, when are you guys going to be opening up with these delicious treats that we can sample?
We are planning on April of 2020 is our opening.
Cool.
And that is all determined by permitting and construction. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. Congratulations. Obviously, it's very exciting step. Thanks for picking Canby. It sounds like you got your start in Hubbard, so thanks for moving on up the road.
Yeah, it's a great little city, and I'm really excited to meet everybody and go down this path.
The great outdoors. Sometimes you just gotta get away to a place where life is simpler. The air is clean and the nearest ringing phone is about a million miles away. One of the best places that we found is My Cowboy Cabin near Joseph, Oregon, in the heart of the Eagle Cap Wilderness.
Eagle Cap is the largest unspoiled wilderness area in Oregon, with breathtaking views of granite mountains and crystal clear lakes, and more than 500 miles of trails to explore. It's one of the premier hiking, fishing, and hunting destinations in the Pacific Northwest. My Cowboy Cabin is open from Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend and can be reserved on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on availability. With a cabin that sleeps up to 8 people,
and also a teepee that sleeps 8 or more.
That's right. It's perfect for family vacations, retreats, reunions, and more. Find out more at mycowboycabin.com.
True story. When we first started the Canby Now podcast, we were looking to buy some stickers. Just something to help us get our name out there. We didn't have a lot of money, so we tried to do everything as cheaply as possible online. We wound up with 1,000 of these teeny tiny cheap looking stickers. Not exactly the impressive swag we were hoping for, but you know, you get what you pay for.
Yes, you do. If we had been smart, we would have gone to see Carrie at Promotional Strategies. She's a real live human and a creative genius who will deliver practical, strategic ways to promote your business on any budget. If you're looking for high quality swag that you can be proud to see your logo on, Promotional Strategies is where you want to go. Find them at 695 Southeast 1st Avenue in Canby or online at ps266swag.com.
So in the Canby Conversation today, I am here at, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I think my favorite place in Canby. It's Canby Grove Conference Center, Christian Camp, possibly just called the Grove. It's been called a million things over the years, but I'm here with their Director of Guest Services, Shelly Goeppner, and Maintenance Director, Aaron Hemry. Hey guys, how you doing?
Great.
Good.
Welcome on to the Canby Now podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, we are talking about a really cool thing that's happening this Saturday, Christmas at the Grove. This is, the third year, I think?
Third annual,
yeah. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's been a dream for a long time. I've been here a long time, and I thought we had such a Christmassy atmosphere.
Sure, yeah.
And we've got all these meeting rooms, and it's a time when groups don't tend to retreat, and we had all this time.
Yeah.
Thought maybe we would decorate and just have the community come down and see what we're all about. Because normally we're private. The groups that rent from us are usually private. So it's an opportunity to just open the doors and let the community come check us out. And we've never had that before.
It is a little funny, right, that this is like the third year. Canby Grove's been around for over 100 years, I think.
Well, it's actually 91.
91, okay.
1928.
Almost 100.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting? But I guess you guys are. But yeah, for this to just be the third year, because it does make so much sense and it does fit so well, you know. And we were here last year, and that vision you had, that it seems like it would be a good thing to do here. You were right. Like, it just fits like a glove. So it's interesting that it took 8 years to make that connection. But
well, Shelly and I are the resident Griswolds of the camp.
Oh, there you go.
So
I saw you up on the roof all tied up in the Christmas lights last year.
This is actually our 4th year, because the year before our first annual, Shelly and I bought lights and we decorated the hedgerow. We didn't actually have a festival, but being the local Griswolds, we just couldn't stand it anymore. And so we put lights up, and
how many times does he get electrocuted, Shelly?
Well, he doesn't tell me, but I would be terrified to know. A lot. He's brave.
Yeah.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about what you do at Christmas at the Grove and kind of how you put together the because there's a lot that happens, all the different activities.
There's a lot that happens here, and when people come onto the site and park, you walk into the courtyard, and it's just magical with all the lights and just the campfire going. We have It's a Wonderful Life rolling on the end of the big red barn. You can go in and have dinner. We've turned our dining room into more of a short order with lots of menu options, so you can go in and have some dinner. If you want to just sit and listen to soft acoustical music and sip some hot chocolate, you can do that. Then we have a children's theater and a cookie decorating area kind of around the back. And then in the big red barn is where all the crafts are happening, the family crafts and the entertainment. And then if you want to buy a s'more pack and sit around the fire, you can cook some s'mores. And then we've opened a Christmas store out of one of our old cabins that's probably been here since 1928. The thrust of the festival happens in the big red barn, which is the original structure built in 1928 when the camp was built.
But this year we're going to have actually Christmas swag for people to take a look at in the store.
Oh, that's right.
We'll have like up on a mannequin or something, like people that's going to be pre-orders this year. Okay. But we'll have sweatshirts, beanies, and t-shirts for people to put a pre-order in.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's kind of a new thing. And we are opening up the Riverfront Lodge here for bingo.
Okay.
And so we've never done Christmas bingo, but we thought it would be fun. And we really wanted to engage a lot of the senior centers and things in our surrounding area, although you don't have to be a senior to play.
Right.
But we open the doors a little early. They can come play bingo and then have free reign into the festival when it starts at 5.
Cool.
Which is, I think Shelly might have already mentioned, but one of our goals is to, being dead during the month of December a lot, is to be able to open up and reach out to the community. So just looking for more ways to be able to expand who we reach out and say hello to.
Love it.
Yeah, and then hopefully we would generate some ideas about Christmas parties, because we have all these meeting rooms and a full kitchen that we've got chef staff that are waiting to do that.
Wait, you have an ulterior motive here, Shelly? Come on.
Slightly.
I thought this was just for the community. No,
Slightly. But there's so much going on here.
Yeah.
One of the things we really love about this, and this is more on the charitable side, is that proceeds that we make and from sponsors and donations, we try to create a Send a Kid to Camp fund for a lot of kids who can't afford camp in the summer.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a little for them, a little for us, and a little for everybody.
Cool. I love it. I loved it because, I mean, like, what could be more camp than the s'mores? I love that you guys do that. Like, that's the first thing you think about when you think about Canby Grove. But great. And I think there's a magician this year.
Yes, it's the magic of Christmas is the theme.
Last year we had Aaron Crawford. I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
Bringing a magician in. Tell us about him.
You know, to be honest, I don't know a ton about him other than he's really good.
Okay.
And he's going to be walking around.
He
does magic. He's going to be walking around the festival ahead of time, doing little magic tricks at the tables and street magic.
Yeah,
that's the term.
Close-up magic.
Yes.
And then he'll encourage you to come to see him in the main hall, beginning at like 7:45.
Right. Kevin Allen is his name.
Kevin Allen.
He's on YouTube. Dina, our executive director, looked him up and found him. And so we're looking forward to having him here. I have not watched him at all yet. I want to be surprised and amazed when I see everything he does.
Cool. Yeah. He does like some comedy, I guess, too. So kind of comedy style magician.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun, and I really like the idea that he goes to all the tables and talks to the kids and people that are, and the adults and everybody, just and does little table magic, and then it really entices them. We also have the balloon guy coming back.
Oh,
so
oh my gosh, he was so popular. I think we waited in line for maybe 40 minutes. I'm sure. Yeah, because my kids and of course, they got, and he did amazing balloons. Like, it wasn't just like a balloon. They were like really intricate, like candles. He had like a sword and shield thing, like a whole suit of armor. And then, we waited 40 minutes, and within like 2 minutes, like one of them had popped or whatever. But yeah, very popular guy. I'm glad he's coming back. So.
My wife was the one who kept all the kids in line there last year when
she tried to, especially.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, it was a lot.
Another fun thing is the scavenger hunt. You can get a map and a pencil and all the clues, and it takes you through the whole festival, and then there's a prize at the end. Kids, adults, anyone can do the scavenger hunt, so that's really fun to kind of get a taste of the whole facility. I think the craft area is really, really popular. Wood burning, woodworking, centerpieces, ornaments, all sorts of things that are free. People get to take that with them. That's so cool. And so that's fantastic.
The cookie decorating, did you mention?
The cookie decorating.
That's another one of the big ones your children probably saw last year.
They did.
It's one of the biggest.
They love that.
Most popular things.
Cuts Force Thriftway makes that possible for us. So we're very, very grateful to them. And
my
they're so generous.
more just was squirting icing into it. But,
it's sugar.
It's going there anyway.
That's right.
It's going to wind up there by one root of correction. So let's talk a little bit about the history of Canby Grove. You mentioned 91 years.
91 years. Canby Grove was started by the Christian and Missionary Alliance Church in 1928.
As a revival for revivals.
Yeah, they were only open in the summer at that time. The tabernacle, which is the big red barn now, was the main structure, and everyone was on tent pads.
Yeah. And what color is that barn again?
Bright red.
That was red. Okay.
Big red barn.
Big red barn. That's a trick question. So anyway, that was where everyone had family camp. And then as the years went on, people would put up little cabins because they knew they were coming to their camp every year, which now we've turned into offices.
Right.
So we have a little history that we work in every day.
In 1928, there weren't as many RVs around.
Nope. Everybody was tent camping. Yesterday's luxuries are today's necessities. Now we want a bathroom, we want linens and towels, which is why the hotel here is fantastic.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the rich history, and we've actually, nothing's changed in what we do. It's just how we do it. Nothing's changed. It's always had that vision of just being a place where people gather and come together and meet and enjoy each other.
Cool.
Yeah.
So a little personal history from me, and Shelly, I think you know some of this, but the reason that this place is my favorite place in Canby, this is actually where my wife and I met. We're both counselors working here back in 2008.
My goodness.
When it was a summer, like an overnight camp and day camp. I was living in Maine at the time and going to college, and just was looking for a summer job, a little bit of adventure, wanted to go to a different place. So I filed applications at camps in Oregon and Texas and California for some reason. I'm glad they didn't. No, just Colorado. And anyway, Canby Grove Camp was the first one that called me, and it brought me out here, and that's where my wife and I met. So we worked 2 summers here, and we actually got married here as well, Shelly.
Wow.
I think we've talked before. I think you remember our wedding because we did it in the same. We did the reception and the ceremony in the same
room.
So we had to get everybody out and then take all the chairs and turn them into tables and chairs and then move everybody back in. So.
Aaron did the same thing with his wedding.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
that's a great story.
You guys met here as well.
We did not meet here. No.
Okay. I still got you on that one.
You got me on that.
I love to hear those kinds of things and those great stories. And people wander back onto Canby Grove all the time and tell us about the experiences they had here, and what happened when they were kids or adults, and it's a rich part of what we have.
I mean, it literally changed my life, that summer. So it changed the whole trajectory of my life. So it's really cool. Yeah, I love coming back here and reliving some of those memories. We were talking about the fishing pond and stuff as we were walking over here. So
Yeah. And we do baptisms off the river, which we have some old neat black and whites of when that was going on. And, there's just so much that's really rich here that I love that. And we've got some really neat old pictures that depict how it was. And then we're still doing that today.
Yeah.
I love that.
And new things are happening, like the Christmas festival. We're always growing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually ruined a backpack by the fishing pond during that first summer. It was the first week, and for some reason I had all of my toiletries in my backpack that I would carry around throughout the day with the campers, including some shaving cream. And so after a day camp day, I got assigned to go, because it was always the fishing poles were always a mess at the end of the day. So there was somebody's job had to go, fix them and untangle them and everything. That was my job. So I threw my bag over the fence. And the shaving cream exploded.
Oh no!
Wow. Cool. Well, hopefully that doesn't. I don't carry shaving cream around with me anymore, don't worry. But so Christmas at the Grove this Saturday. I believe it's free admission. You just have to pay to park.
There is a small parking fee.
Yeah,
$10.
$10 per car.
Okay, $10 per car. When does it start?
Doors open at 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 to 9:30.
It'll be pretty dark by then.
Yes.
Yeah. And how many lights do you guys? Do you know?
I'll be counting this year. I estimate about 30,000.
Gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, it was beautiful last year. More this year?
A lot more.
Yeah.
We had about 150 rolls that didn't work last year that we repaired this year that we've added into the whole setup.
Rolls.
I have to really say that Aaron is the one behind the lights. I mean, his vision and his work and just that thing in him that says it's got to be bigger and wider. And when you came in, you maybe saw the 8-foot Christmas wreath that dawns our entrance.
Was that not there last year? I
No.
thought it was. I thought for some reason I thought I remembered.
The first year we had one.
Okay.
But it was like 3.5 feet.
Okay.
Not big enough for the entry.
8-foot wreath. That's
so now we have an 8-foot wreath with a 30-inch bow on it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So Aaron's vision for the lights and the decor and just to make it big and bold, I mean, we get a little giddy when we start talking about that.
Resident Griswold is not a joke.
You weren't joking. Yeah, I almost think people love Christmas lights so much. I almost wonder if that's even more of an attraction than all the fun activities and stuff. People just love, people love talking, you got to go see this house on Birch Street or whatever. Like, that's stuff people talk about on Facebook. So
yeah, it's really magical, and I think that that just makes it so much fun. And we don't look like that all year long, except for the month of December.
No, but I hear all year long people telling me that they just wandered in to see the lights at some point during the December month because they saw it and thought it was so great. And we try to discourage that a little bit because we are a private facility, but it's awesome to hear that people love the lights and just come on in and take a look.
You know, I'd like to make one other announcement that you might not know about. The weekend, or, Saturday is the festival, but Sunday is the cookie bake.
Okay.
Yes.
And we it's a program where you buy a table, and then you buy our dough and frosting, and then you bring your own cookie cutters and all your own toppings, and you roll out your cookies and cook them in our ovens. So you can do, 10 dozen at a time, I'm not sure. And then you go to the frosting room and leave with your own boxes of cookies that are all done. You don't have to mess up your own house. It's all taken care of. And it's a really fun family activity. You can eat them as you go, or you can just take them home with you. But
My kids will be eating them.
Yes.
It's a super fun activity and a great way to kind of couple that with the festival in one weekend.
Yeah, and we're online. You can get online and reserve their 2-hour slots to be able to come in and do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's right. Christmasatthegrove.com.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for the website. I didn't even have to ask you for it. Thank you guys so much for your time and telling us about it. We'll see you out there this weekend.
You bet.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
I'm here at Advantage Mortgage with Derek Hill. And Derek, you were telling me about something that just came down from Fannie Mae that people might be interested in.
Yeah, Fannie Mae just came out with a report that said that the average homeowner in the United States has approximately 70% equity in their home.
Oh, wow.
Right. I mean, that's obviously average throughout the whole country, but because values have come up so substantially in the last 10 years, there is a ton of equity available that people can utilize.
Cool. So if people are potentially looking to buy or move into a new home, you're saying that equity means it might be something that you would look at remodeling instead of maybe if the market's not looking favorable to you.
Right, 100%. Because the market in Portland is so tough to buy, we have an average of 2.5 months worth of inventory, so it's just super hard for people to find what they're looking for. It may be just easier for them to take out some equity and do the upgrades or do an addition or pay off some debt or lots of different things. And that's one of the things that we love to do with people is sit down with them and kind of go over a game plan.
Cool.
That's one of the biggest things is knowing what you can do, and we love taking the time to do that for people.
Awesome. And people can find you on your website or just give you a call?
They can go to findtheadvantage.com or call 266-5800, obviously 503 area code. And we love to chit-chat, and we have, 8 or 9 different loan officers here in the Canby office that would love to sit down with somebody and work with them.
Cool. Thanks, Derek.
So just remember, Derek Hill, NMLS number 50183, Advantage Mortgage, NMLS number 177059, equal housing opportunity. Thank you.
Well, as always seems to happen on this first weekend in December, there are a million things going on in Canby, one of which happens to be one of the most beloved and unique annual outreaches in town. It's Operation Snuggle, and joining us on the line now to talk about it is its founder and, what do I call you, Don? Chief Snuggler? Is that your title?
Sure. Chief Snuggler sounds great.
It's Dawn Depner. She's also a member of the Canby School Board. Operation Snuggle is an annual event at Baker Prairier Middle School involving hundreds of volunteers, hand-making blankets, pillows, and pillowcases for homeless children in the Canby School District. It's now in its 11th or 12th year, right, Dawn? Can you tell us how it started?
Yes, this will be the 11th year.
Mm-hmm.
And it started 11 years ago with an idea of helping our
2008.
homeless. Yes, 2008, with an idea of helping our most needy children in Canby, but not just helping them, but raising awareness to our community and really bringing folks together to make blankets. And I think it's important to really understand that this isn't just, a chief snuggler position. It's really, it's really something that takes a community to embrace. And that's what's so unique about Canby is we really are able to come together, whether we agree or disagree, but we are absolutely able to come together and help our youth and our most needy. So that's the cool thing. It takes a community, it takes a village, and that's what we do on December 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's such a cool outreach. First of all, Dawn, I think you need to get that on a business card ASAP, the Chief Snuggler. You can have that. But also, just the fact, there are so many. There's lots of charities. There's lots of nonprofits that help, needy people. This is cool because it's focused on our community, for one thing, but also just the fact that it's people making these things by hand, right? There's not like that, that distance that can happen sometimes with charities, that you give money and that goes toward good things, but there's a separation there. This is really cool that it's actually people taking time out, making things with their hands that are, a real tangible act of love to these kids.
Yeah. I actually get a little teary-eyed when I hear you talk and say those things because, that's really what this is about. It's about, loving these kids. And I always say, like, if you can tie a knot, you can help one of these kiddos. And it's so cool to see so many people sit down on the gymnasium floors and just cut and tie and put these blankets together and, listen to some Christmas music and really get in the spirit of giving and helping each other. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, we went last year. It was really cool. It is amazing to see because, it was my first time. I had no idea what I was doing at all. And there was 20 people that came over and helped me and basically took it over because I was terrible at it, which was fine. But, it's just cool how everyone pitches in. You've got police officers and firefighters working together, mine did, the part that I messed up did end up being, maybe not perfect or what you would get from a store or something, but that's cool too, because that's human and that's something that was made right here locally with, with the intention of it going to a local kid.
Absolutely. I love it. But I do remember you there last year and you had 2 kids in tow. Now you have 3 kids, but you had 2 kids in tow and one was really anxious to tie knots and one was probably looking for some donuts.
Yeah. He was very interested in that. Not interested at all so much in the tying knots, but it takes all sorts to make a community, I guess.
Absolutely.
This year, Dawn, I understand that it's also expanding a little bit to help some North Marion kids.
Oh, no, that's not correct.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
We'll take that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a goal. So do you want to just ask a different question then?
Yeah. Let me just ask a different question. So this is just you and me talking. So numbers-wise, I'm not asking you specifically, but just more generally, because I do think that it surprises people, the amount of homeless kids that we do have.
Yeah, so right now we're helping 309 Canby kids and 40 kids from the Molalla School District. So we have a total of 349 children that we are helping this year.
Yeah. It is surprising, like, every year, because I think that, you don't really, like, see homeless people. You don't see homeless kids. Like, that's not the way that our community works, because kids are not out on the streets oftentimes, fortunately, I guess. But, they're not in a secure home. They're in a relative's home, or they're sleeping on the floor somewhere or whatnot. So I think folks, and do you hear, Dawn, that folks are kind of surprised, like, oh, we have hundreds and hundreds of homeless kids in Canby School District?
Yeah, and I think it's an opportunity to talk about, those that are less fortunate. And, one of those would be foster kids. They don't have a home of their own, so they are, considered homeless. And it's unfortunate that we have that many kids, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity to really kind of raise awareness and, help these children that are in need that, may have a roof over their house or over their head, or they may be, staying with family. But, the message is that they have a community that loves them, that embraces them, and, wants to be a part of their life. And we will continue to support them. Yeah.
Do you track numbers of volunteers who come out to the Operation Snuggle events?
That's such a great question. I used to do that, but it's so amazing. It would be really difficult to count the amount of people that come now, just because, as you know, Baker Prairier has 2 separate gymnasiums that really sit, just right across the hall from each other. But both gymnasiums are usually filled with folks making blankets. So we've even had people in the hallways making blankets because we ran out of room on the floor. So I would say that we have a couple hundred folks show up to make the blankets. But with that being said, I get really nervous every single year, freaking out that if we have all this fleece and the community doesn't come together, how are these blankets going to get made for the kids? So it warms my heart to hear you say at the very beginning of this conversation, it's a unique community event, and it's well received, and thank God that it is received the way that it is, because we always have people showing up to make blankets. So, if you're listening to this, please come and join us and make blankets, because we absolutely cannot do this project without everybody's help.
Yeah, awesome. So it's going to be this Saturday, December 7th, starts at 9
a.m.
Okay. And you do encourage people to bring your family, bring volunteers, but bring scissors, right?
I always say bring all your friends, bring scissors, and then bring a can of food, because we will donate that to the Canby Center. So bring a can of food if you remember to do that. That would be great.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dawn, Chief Snuggler of Operation Snuggle. Thanks for coming on the show and telling us about this.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
You may think from the sounds of that I've traveled down to the banks of the Ohio River down at my sweet home, Kentucky, but I am here at the Canby Music Store with the owner, Brian Haines. Hi, Brian. Welcome back onto the show. Mm-hmm. So it is, it's after Thanksgiving, and apparently it is now okay to start talking about Christmas without people getting mad at me. So,
well, my wife's had it on the Christmas station on the radio for a while now.
Oh, okay, good. So your wife and I would get along. I can't wait to ring in the holidays. But obviously folks are now okay with hearing Christmas music for the most part. I'm sure that might change, but okay with looking at recipes and, of course, talking about shopping and gifts. And you have a store here and wanted to kind of talk about something that's close to your heart, obviously, shopping local.
Sure. Well, I'm a local guy that opened up the store in my hometown, and I strive to carry as much products in here that are local as I can, including Breed Love guitars that are made in Bend, Oregon, the banjo that you're hearing that's made in California, Deering Banjos, and Kala ukuleles that I have some of their high-end custom ukuleles here as well that are also made in California.
Yeah. And I mean, people talk a lot about like buying local, shopping local, and how you got to do it. But I don't know if the message of like kind of why it gets out there too much. Because when I started doing this podcast, started interacting with a lot more local businesses, and I mean, it's not just like do it because they really want you to. Like, there's so much that comes back into our community. Something like 70% of every dollar that's spent at a local business stays in the community, as compared to, obviously like a big chain. Even if it's a store that's local, but it's a chain store, a lot of that goes, and especially obviously if it's online, those dollars never come back to the community. Whereas local businesses are the ones that are donating to local causes, donating to sports teams and things like that.
Well, sure. If you're buying something that is been manufactured some far off place and then has to be shipped and then gone through distribution channels, I mean, that money, however much you spend on that product, the dollars are being split up all over the place,
right?
As opposed to more money staying locally in the community.
Right. And I get it. I mean, sometimes you do have to make that dollar decision. Folks are getting squeezed in different ways. We're not saying that you should go into debt necessarily or whatnot, but if you can afford it, if you can afford to make those decisions, like, there are so many good reasons to invest in businesses that are investing in our community.
Well, I actually think that's a false thing there, because just because it's local doesn't mean it's more expensive.
Right, absolutely. No, that's a good point too. Yeah.
There is stuff that is local that is high end, and there's stuff that's local that's just, something that's a world leader anyway, like the Manhasset music stands that are found in every single classroom in the world. Like the standard bearer for classroom music stands is they're made right in Yakima, Washington. Yeah. And so, there's boutique stuff, but there's all kinds of variations in the industry.
Cool. When you're talking about holiday shopping here at the Canby Music Store, are there any cool things that you would sort of feature if people are thinking about different ages or different gift ideas that they could find here?
Well, so there's things just like, drumsticks or guitar strings.
Accessories.
Yeah, accessories, reeds, all that kind of stuff that would be, in the stocking stuffer range of price. And, there's instruments, and, we have everything from your entry-level instruments all the way up to professional, high-end custom shop stuff.
Yeah. As a parent of like young children, I definitely wouldn't be looking high end, but I like the idea of like entry level or starter level type stuff as a gift, because with young kids, like you spend this money on a gift and they get so excited and then they're bored with it. Like within a couple of days. An instrument is something where you feel like you really get some longevity with it. If they obviously have that interest and that dedication, but you could really get some legs on a gift like that.
Yeah, and so everybody's idea of what an entry level and stuff is different. One person might think that a certain price of an instrument would be only for people that are really been at it a long time, and other people will that'll be their base point. I think it really kind of depends on if a kid has been interested in music for a while, or in school band or whatever, they might want to, they're interested in guitar, but they've already been playing piano for 4 or 5 years, so they would just go ahead and get something a little more high end right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you right now, my entry level is going to be those kazoos right over there that you got on the shelf. So
collect all 7 colors.
Cool. Anything to add, Brian?
I have the world's loudest kazoo as well.
Oh, I do see that on the floor. Are you going to go play that for us?
No. So kazoos, in fact, the world's loudest acoustic kazoo. And what does that say right there?
It says made in the USA. The kazobo?
The kazobo.
Okay, Lord of all kazoos.
Yeah. And there's a
drumming.
Yeah.
I just saw these on the show. I didn't realize that you had like a whole product line of kazoos, Brian.
Yeah, and what does that say?
Made in the USA.
I know. See, a lot of times people don't assume that. If you saw something like that, you wouldn't assume.
You would think is from China or something. Yeah, sure. Cool.
And so, I really try to carry the stuff that's made locally.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing that, Brian, and thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
Hey, Tyler, did you know that the world has changed in the past 20 years?
No way!
Yep, it's true. The way people shop for goods and services has completely changed since this thing called the internet started catching on.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And yet some realtors still offer the same old services in the same old ways and for the same old percentages. Victory Point Property Group in Canby believes it's time the real estate business caught up with the times. They'll meet with you for free, explain every step of the process, give you a clear game plan, and even let you choose the listing commission.
Really? They let you choose their commission?
Really, Victory Point Property Group understands this is one of the biggest and most exciting decisions of your life, and they'll do everything they can to make sure you handle it like a rock star.
Wow, that sounds great. I'm going to check them out by calling 503-263-4700 or by visiting online at victorypointhomes.com.
You do that. Victory Point Property Group, real estate reimagined.
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah?
Can you do me a favor? Just real quick. Name all the services that you're subscribed to.
Okay. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu. There's like Google stuff, I think. My wife, I think, does a cat thing, and I'm looking into Dollar Shave Club.
It's starting to get a little ridiculous, right? There's even an app to manage all of your subscriptions now. Of course, it comes with its own monthly convenience fee. It can get a little overwhelming. They've even coined a term for it, subscription fatigue.
If you're being hit with subscription fatigue blues, we have a solution for you, at least when it comes to streaming options. Try Easy Video TV from Direct Link. It offers your favorite shows and movies all in one app on the same bill as your internet service.
Direct Link is a local community-based provider that has your back. Record your favorite shows, watch them anywhere, and access all the major local and cable TV networks with an Easy Video subscription.
Why are we still sitting here? How do I sign up? Let's go!
Well, it's easy. Just call Direct Link at 503-266-8111, visit their office at Juniper and 2nd, or go to directlink.coop to switch to Easy Video TV today.
The Canby Now podcast is a production of Now Hear This Studios, Canby's locally owned full-service audio, video, and media production company. Our mission is to produce the best content in the universe, and we'd love to help you do it. Find us online at nhtstudios.com.
The Canby Now podcast is dedicated to preserving independent local journalism and redefining local news with our fun, fresh, and energetic brand of storytelling. Our sincere thanks to our local sponsors who make this show possible. Please show your appreciation by supporting the small businesses who support us.
Huge thank you as well to our supporters on Patreon. We rely on your monthly contributions to continue to do this work that we seriously love. For information on how you can become one of the coolest people in the world, a patron of the Canby Now podcast, visit cambynowpod.com/plus.